Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO.
We've got the title game for you, the 2013 Easy Bonds Global Payments U.S. Virgin Islands Paradise Jam. Let's check out the starting lineups. And for Maryland, Kevin, Evan Smotrich, also a career game yesterday with those 20 points.
20 points. Let's see if he can build upon that. But we have a great matchup with Jake Lehmann against Tyler Harris, two 6'9", highly skilled forwards.
And Providence, Ed Cooley says Bryce Cotton, the leading returning scorer from the Big East. He is the X factor, believe it or not. Has not played very well in the Paradise as of yet. The University of Maryland is coached by Mark Turgeon, second year in College Park, 45-30, and know about his work in Kansas, playing there and coaching for Larry Brown on the '88 title team and Roy Williams, and moving to Oregon and moving along. He's coached at Jacksonville State, Texas A&M, Wichita State, where we mentioned he was in the finals in 2003. Of the Paradise Jam. For Providence, 6-0 for the first time in 25 years. Ed Cooley hasn't had a whole lot of time to enjoy it. He has been under the weather. He has been receiving IV fluids, and it has been a tough time for him from a personal note, but from a performance note from his team, he says he really loves this team, this Providence Friar team.
Every time we go to one of his practices, he tells how much he enjoys, and he doesn't say, I like this team, I love this team.
Let's check out the keys of the game. What do you have for us, Kevin?
Well, for the Terps, it's been point guard play by committee, and they've done an excellent job. Only 2 turnovers against UNI by those 3 guards, Wells, Peters, and Rom. And this is going to be a war on the boards tonight. The Terps a +7, Friars a +9 on board work. Providence, they're going to limit the threes, especially Lehmann and Smotrich, and they got to handle the rock. Only 11 turnovers against Vanderbilt, 10 against LaSalle. This is a very explosive offensive team for Providence because they're efficient. They do not turn over the rock.
The Friars and the Terps, believe it or not, based on their close proximity, you probably think they've met a lot of times. Nope, just twice. Once when Dave Gavitt was coaching the team in 1973. The last time, 1991, a 76-66 win for the University of Maryland. Well, they're going at it tonight for the Paradise Jam title. And just an interesting note to take into consideration, all but 2 of the previous men's winners of this tournament have gone on to the NCAA tournament. Roger Ayers, Joe Lindsay, and Clarence Armstrong are the officials for the test. Nick Faust also having a big game for Maryland, and also an important factor for the Terrapins.
Huge game, and Bass also a super start for Providence before he got in foul trouble. This is a Providence team that can score a lot of ways, and you've got Jake Lehmann, a matchup nightmare, as we mentioned, can score in and out. Look for Maryland to run some pin downs to get Lehmann open for those jumpers.
Time for the opening tip. Shaquille Clear for Maryland, Kadeem Batts for Providence. Glad you can settle in for a late Monday evening for most of America for this final game of the Paradise Jam. Danny Lee, Kevin Lehman, Monica Jonigan with you. Maryland in the black. And it's Evan Smotrich, who we discussed, along with Lehmann, the 2 big factors in the victory over Northern Iowa on Sunday night.
You're going to see a lot of switching on ball screens by this Providence team and on dribble handoffs.
In the post, Clear the jump hook, and he gets it going. Clear not normally the offensive threat for Mark Turgeon, but he scores the first 2.
That was a good sign for the Terps because Clear did not score in the game against Northern Iowa.
Cotton was 3 for 15 last night. Tonight, he gives it under to Henton, and then Batts is stripped, and here comes Wells through the defense. Wells all the way down, and he throws it down with authority.
Ed Cooley not happy, already going to his, because he talked the shoot around, do not let Wells go downhill on you.
Yeah, Chris Dunn is going to be checking in at the next dead ball. We're just over a minute in. Here's Cotton. Wide open is Henton for 3. That's not there, and here comes Faust. And he'll give it up to Wells for Maryland, and he very well know about the point guard issues that we've been discussing throughout the tournament, and Maryland has been facing with the absence of Seth Allen. On the wing, Lehmann, the Smotrich, the turnaround not there.
Now Mark Turgeon electing to start Wells at that point guard spot, but he will slide him over the 2 and bring in the freshman Peters.
Here's Wells again behind the back. Oh my! It's a highlight reel already for Wells.
Play today as he has attacked the rim. Ed Cooley not happy. Talk about that shoot around. Had to get number 32 stopped.
Fortune not able to connect. However, Henton there with the rebound and the putback, and the one Ed Cooley calls the junkyard dog with the first 2 for the Friars.
That is why he calls him that, as Hinton just muscles his way in amongst the trees. Only 6'6", pulls that down and converts.
Wells already with 2 fantastic plays. And the seats aren't even warm yet. 2.5 minutes in, 6-2 Maryland. And Wells will bring it back.
The Prophets really wanting to switch amongst the 4 perimeter plays to keep Batts not involved in that.
Wells this time comes up short, and here comes Cotton leading the charge. Head man to Harris. Harris goes up and is fouled.
We've watched Tyler Harris run the wings this entire tournament. He is an excellent free throw shooter. Over 90%. Gets out and goes and tries to finish. Lehmann there a little late.
Harris, as we talked about, a 22-point game yesterday. 9 of 9 at the line he was. 9 rebounds in that game as well. And Harris scores his first point of the night.
Harris is now 21 of 23 from the free throw line on the season. You do not want to foul.
We got Roddy Peters checking in early for Maryland as Jake Lehmann comes out. And Harris back to the stripe again. You know, you talked to Tyler Harris a little bit of shoot around, and you asked him, are you a little bit rusty? You had that transfer to sit out of here. He goes, no. And then we talked to Ed Cooley, and he said, don't believe him.
They played very little at North Carolina State, sat out the transfer year. Ed Cooley expects great things from Tyler Harris.
Foul line outlet by Peters. We got a loud crowd here inside the Sports and Fitness Center at the University of the Virgin Islands. The jump hook is not there for Smotrich. Here's Dunn looking down the floor. Quick pass, and it is put away by Harris on the reverse.
And Tyler Harris is just outrunning the Terps defense down the court. They cannot get matched up.
Peters with a nice move off the crossover. We got a quick tempo here, 8-6.
Well, Providence always talks about icing the ball screen, keeping the ball on the same side, but they had to pay as Peters took it right to the rack as he refused the screen.
And Batts powering down low, even though he had a very efficient time yesterday against LaSalle, 18 points in 22 minutes. He was in foul trouble throughout the night.
What's the freshman here? We talk about point guard by committee. Crossover move, explodes the basket. This is a highly touted freshman learning the system for Coach Turge.
Kadeem Batts 20 of 23, and now tack on another one. Varun Ram, who has really helped off the bench defensively for Maryland in this tournament, comes in for Wells. Clear out for his buddy Charles Mitchell.
I talked to Coach Turgeon about his point guard by committee. I said, Coach, there's 3 guys, Wells, Peters, Ram, only 2 turnovers against Northern Iowa, only 6 against Marist. He looked at me and said, don't jinx us.
Kadeem Batts able to connect on both free throws, and he comes out. And for the first time today, the Wake Forest transfer, Carson DeRozier's in. DeRozier's the co-leader in the Big East in blocks, 21 blocks. He had 6 last night. He's a big guy. And right away, Henton is the one blocking Faust out of bounds.
And Ed Cooley, that was the scouting report on Faust. He said he's going to drive it to the basket every time he catches it. That scouting report was detailed at today's shoot-around.
Airballed 3 by Rom, rebounded by Henton, and here comes Cotton weaving through traffic. Harris will step back, he's feeling it, but comes up short. And Rom, the speedster, former walk-on from Division III Trinity College in Connecticut, and Faust Goes up to the hoop. All the Providence fans wanted to travel on Faust. Nevertheless, they do get the ball back. A very partisan crowd on both sides of this gymnasium. Here's Fortune on the wing. Henton from 18, no. And Mitchell, the flat-footed rebound. Here come the Terrapins in their black uniforms. Faust down the lane, up, under, can't get it to go, but earns his way to the stripe. All expenses paid on the Providence foul. We've got an exciting one, and would you expect anything less? The Easy Bonds Paradise Jam right here on CBS Sports Network. Don't go anywhere. Now we have a couple of substitutions. Yeah, you knew Des Wells and Jake Lehmann weren't going to stay out for long. Faust and Rom retreat. And Kadeem Batson for Providence, ushering out Henton.
Jake Lehmann picked up that early foul, took a seat on the bench, now back in there. He has been a dangerous performer. Led him in scoring the trip to Bahamas and has not missed a beat as this season has started for the Terps.
Here's a long three from Smotrich, and he gets it to go.
Ed Cooley, make the three-pointer shooters bounce it. Smotrich just measures that one up and drills it on Bats.
12-8 Maryland. Here's Dunn falling over his Bats, but they're going to say Mitchell tripped him up.
Smotrich, a big game. The Bats, just too much room. The Michigan transfer.
As mentioned, Smotrich going from Michigan, the Big Ten, to the ACC, and next year he'll end up back in the Big Ten. On the baseline, rising is DeRozier's, and it's an air ball. Loose ball, it stays in bounds, and Smotrich picks it up. Peters, the cross-court pass. Oh, that was a dangerous decision, and Dunn takes it away. Dunn trying to do it himself. Cotton can't go for him, and still Bryce Cotton struggles.
Mark Turgeon was concerned about Chris Dunn's ability to disrupt those long arms. We saw that last steal by Dunn.
Smotrich rolling it around to Des Wells. Back to Smotrich, all alone in the corner. He can even think about it. But rebounded by Bats.
Miscommunication on the switch. Smotrich does not make them pay.
Dunn fly swatted out of the air by Lehmann, providing the defense. Here comes Shaquille Clear back in. The Bahamas native taking out Smotrich. Henton back in, and Harris is out for Providence. The Friars, the last time they started in this good a position, you have to go back to the late 80s. At 6-0. Right now, though, they're not shooting well. 17%, but they're only down 4.
Charles Mitchell, huge lift off the bench for the Terps as Mark Turgeon keeps rotating Clear and Mitchell in and out of his lineup. It was effective. It's wore down these other teams, but a little more depth in the front line with this Providence Friar team.
Peters over to Lehmann on the baseline. Clear turns around with the jump hook, no. And like we saw the other night for Maryland, going with Clear and Mitchell, the two big men. Out on the floor is Mark Turgeon. Here's Bats. The three not there.
And then Cooley puts his hands up. He told Bats, don't be shooting the three ball unless we're way ahead. But Lehmann answers at the other end. Timeout, Ed Cooley.
Ed Cooley is not a happy man right now. His team trails 15-8 to Maryland, off to a good shooting start and hitting another shot to put them 7. And going back to Jake Lehmann's three-point shot.
This comes off the long shot by Batts. Transition, has plenty of time to toe the line, size it up. Jake Lehmann shooting over 50% from the arc this season.
Maryland up by 7, and tonight with the Paradise Jam title game, Providence trailing by 7, and Maryland coming out with a 7-0 run. And Maryland wearing their Monday finest. Look at those shoes. You got the flag of Maryland on the shoes, and Maryland is no stranger. The university, if you remember, I think it was a year or two ago, the football team came out with a much maligned uniform where they had the flag of Maryland on their helmet. Now they go out with the shoes. Yeah, that's the state flag of Maryland right there. The crest and everything. It's a little mesmerizing. Providence can't be caught watching those shoes. Now here's Providence possession, 15-8. Maryland jumps up by 7 for the first time tonight. Dunn to the hoop. Make that Cotton, excuse me, as it's tipped away.
It's a misdirection play that Providence likes to run, especially out of outs. It isolates Cotton or Hinton on that left side.
There's Bryce Cotton. It's been a rough time in the Virgin Islands for him.
And he's coming off surgery of a meniscus. Ed Cooley said does not get a full practice, and he's still trying to heal up from that injured knee.
And we watched him at shoot-around. He doesn't even participate in the plays. So that's a pretty tough thing to ask out of him. And of course, all the defenders are keying in on it. He led the Big East in scoring last season. Of course they would.
Now, he struggled a little bit in this tournament. Ed Cooley calling the X Factor night. He's waiting for Cotton for a breakout game.
So far, he has yet to score and has missed his only 2 shots. 12.5 minutes to go in the first half. Providence, just a 15% shooting start from the floor. Here's Henton bullying his way down low on Smotrich.
That is a play that Ed Cooley wanted to start the game with isolation play, and he told Hinton, don't shoot a jump shot, you drive it right to the rack. And Hinton did and scored.
Oh, another athletic play, but Wells looking for the foul. He's not going to get it. Guilty of a foul 80 feet from the hoop.
This play in the shoot-around, Hinton took a jump shot. The first time they ran it, Ed Cooley jumped out there and said, if you take the jumper on this play, you're going to sit on the bench.
You know, size, his numbers on the roster certainly belie the way he plays, just 6'6", but he plays like that traditional power forward.
And they run misdirection plays that bring it back to the left side. He's left-handed, explosive step. And even Maryland said, you're going to see this play 10 times a game.
Here's Dunn hopping into the paint. The floater won't go. And the rebound to Mitchell. Here's Lehmann bringing it forward.
We'll talk about Sky Reports. Coach Spinelli from Maryland, excellent job of breaking down what Providence was going to do.
Lehmann elevates, and his shot is well short. Maryland still holding on to a 5-point lead with 11:32 to go in the first half. Jake Lehmann and the Maryland Terrapins trying to win the Paradise Jam. We'll be back with more when we return.
Coach Turgeon of Maryland said, we have to get better defensively this tournament. They have held Providence to 20% shooting from the field.
Ball out of bounds to the Terps. Faust, Wells, Mitchell, Lehmann, and Smotrich as their 5. Wells directing traffic as he goes to Smotrich, the native of Reading, Massachusetts, to Lehmann. Lehmann in the corner, elevates for 3 and can't get it to go.
2 times now, Providence has dodged a bullet. They miscommunicated on that ball handoff. The Terps not able to take advantage.
Wells trying to show the home run pass is thrown, but Lehmann falls off balance. And now Faust in trouble. Wells, nice pass to Mitchell, but he's going to be called for the offensive foul. Runs right over Batts.
We have talked about with the rules change how difficult that is. If you go into shooting motion, you got a better chance of getting the charge, but that's a pass. A better chance of getting the block, but that's a pass, so it is a charge call against Des Wells. Batts gets outside the arc.
Maryland ahead still by 5, and somehow Providence trying to shoot a rugged shooting start. Here's Fortune off the cut that he loves, but he can't get it. Peters, the freshman. Again, another pass inside to Mitchell, who puts it in.
And the Terps are carving up the inside of Providence's defense.
Here's Cotton around the Bats screen. Baseline Harris tipped away and kicked by Smotrich. And Varun Ram will check back in for Maryland. Let's go down to Monica Jonigan, who's got an update for us. Monica.
Guys, in that last timeout, Coach Turgeon telling his team, we need to do better at execution on the offense. Our defense is keeping us in the lead, but we need to make better passes and execute. Take smart shots, and Danny, he plays for Lehmann right now.
And why not? Lehmann with a huge game yesterday, 19 points and 6 boards. Here comes Bats, and he can't get it to go. There's a lid on the rim right now for Providence.
You like the aggressive move by Bats. If you can't make the jumper, attack the rim.
Friars basketball with 10 minutes to go in the half. Here's Bats again, and this time he nails it from 16.
That's where Kadeem Bats is most comfortable. And Ed Cooley even told him, take that 15 to 17-foot jumper. That's your shot. Don't be shooting the 3-ball.
Here's Rom now at the point. Faust, who played some point in his first year with the Terrapins. In the corner, Smotrich jumps it off to Mitchell, hounded by Harris. Puts it up and in, and they're going to count it. The referees look at each other, and they will.
And Ed Cooley not happy with that call.
Ed Cooley, a guy who wears the heart on the sleeve, but check out the play.
Smotrich, nice play. Be a little NBA continuation.
Mitchell spent some time in practice working on his free throws, 6 of 23. Hey, so far so good. Small sample size. He's 1 for 1.
When he enters the gym, that's the first place that the big guy goes. Charles Mitchell goes right to the line, starts working on the free throw stroke. It is starting to pay off, as you said. Small sample size, but nothing but twine.
Against Northern Iowa, much different game. Not a whole lot of offense coming from the low post, Mitchell and Clear, but they have done well so far, combining for 7 points.
I'm impressed by how active they are at the defensive end. Single coverage on the post.
Bats fades, and it'll be a held ball, but will stay with Providence.
You'd almost like to see Bats turn and face up, ball fake, drive it to the basket, rather than settling for that little 7-footer. We know he's good around the free throw line, but on that baseline move, tough to get help. He's got Clear, which is not as mobile as Bats. He's trying to take it by him.
Here's Cotton, the native of Tucson, Arizona. He'll rise from 3, and he gets it. Let's see if that starts him off.
Good ball screen to shake Bryce Cotton loose.
Cotton just 24% from three-point range this season. 5-point game, Maryland ball. They lead it. There's Clear down the lane, short.
Des Wells on the bench for the Terps. 2 fouls. We saw that happen on the first game that the Terps played against Marist. Sat a lot of the first half. Now, as long as Coach Turgeon has, Des Wells will probably sit.
In the post, Harris gets right by Faust and takes advantage of the matchup.
ISO play that Providence likes to use to get a bucket for Tyler Harris. He's effective inside, 6'9", long arm. That's a tough matchup.
Faust, the junior from around the defensive Bats. The putback no by Clear, but we see the aggressiveness underneath Clear and Mitchell throughout this first half.
Only 3 points out of Clear against Northern Iowa. They're right on the head. They are being much more aggressive. Look at that ISO post-up play.
And you saw Faust there. He's pulling on the uniform, trying everything he could, and still Harris broke free.
Well, that's a play they talked about again at the shoot-around. Scott Spinelli, the assistant for Maryland, he had Providence plays down to a T, and he had that scout team running them to perfection. They must have had him up all morning in the lobby working on those. I was amazed at how well they ran the plays of Providence.
Yeah, Scott Spinelli's been the right-hand man for Mark Turgeon, following him around to Texas A&M, Wichita State, and now here with them at Maryland. And we have heard some talk that he could be considered for a head coaching position somewhere sometime soon.
Well, he has been impressive in the practices that I have watched this week for the Maryland Terps.
A break in the action, and Maryland with a 4-point lead, but Providence trying to pull closer. It's been a good one so far. Mark Turgeon's team ahead. Stick with us for the Easy Bonds Paradise Jam. In 2003, Ed Cooley was an assistant on Al Skinner's staff when he beat Mark Turgeon's Wichita State. Arkansas and Wisconsin, you see 04, 05, those are the only two teams of all those past winners on that list that have not advanced to the NCAA tournament. There has been sort of a correlation between a winner here in the Virgin Islands and an appearance in March.
Last year, New Mexico beating UConn in the championship game. Kendall Williams, New Mexico, named MVP of the 2012 Paradise Jam.
Bryce Cotton recently hitting a 3, now going to the line on the 1-and-1 and sinking the free throw. Cotton coming in a 17.5 point per game average, but you see that's 5 ahead of what he's done here. And now with 5 first-half points, trying to work his way out of a rut, and if he does, look out.
After a slow start by Providence offensively, they've worked themselves back into this game, only trailing by 2.
Done with the reach. Faust showing his high flying capability, but it's for naught. Only the 4th foul on Providence. Now down to Monica Johnigan with an update.
Coach Cooley telling his team in that timeout, you have to communicate better on defense. On the switches, when they're setting those picks, we need to cut off the 3-point line. He's not too worried about the offense. He told his team the shots will start falling. We have to pick it up on defense if we're going to shut down their scoring efforts, guys.
That's kind of in the theme here this week, Kevin.
Well, Providence wanted to switch. You said the 4 players, you see Demetrius. And there haven't been real aggressive on their switches. That's what Ed Cooley wants them to disrupt the offense by switching into the passing lanes and the handoffs.
And we saw Northern Iowa in the first game we showed you tonight battle through shooting woes, but played solid defense to ride to a victory. Now, trouble. There's Harris in the lane. Who wants it? And it's Smotrich again. Floor, here comes Faust.
Team speed for Terps. Even Mitchell was blowing down the middle lane. 3-on-1 fast break by Maryland off a missed shot by Providence.
Terps up by 6, but holding Providence to only 19 points at this juncture. DeRozier's in the post. Turns it a right with the jump hook. Peters down the paint. And he walked.
Well, that time Providence able to get back and get the defense set. Cause a turnover. Peters a little out of control. Here's that fast break situation. Faust, excellent game the other night in their win. Is continuing to play aggressively tonight for the Terps.
Providence, this could be potentially a big week for them. Cotton for 3, it rolls off. They've got Kentucky on Sunday. Can't look ahead of that now. First this, and then Fairfield coming up next weekend.
Cotton has a number of threes that have just slid off the rims. Dribble penetration.
And Charles Mitchell continues to impose his will. He's got 7 underneath. 8-point game.
Well, the penetration by Faust and Peters has really distorted the defense of Providence.
Risky pass to DeRozier's, who's short on the 17-footer. Mark Turgeon, the former point guard at KU. First player there to appear in 4 straight NCAAs. Barking out orders to his team. Maryland ball, largest lead of the night for them. The runner is good for Smotrich with the right hand.
They've had tremendous success with that play. They rub Lehmann off. Smotrich keeps sliding to the corner unchecked. He's had some 3 looks that time, drives it in.
Batts turns and called for the hook and an offensive foul. And all Ed Cooley can do is wave his hands at the referee. And on the other end, it's Evan Smotrich.
Starts with Lehmann because he draws the attention of Hinton, and Hinton's late to recover. Smotrich will baseline bounce, scores the.
And Mark Turgeon was talking with us earlier today. He said Smotrich and Lehmann so crucial. In fact, he talked about how much Smotrich needed to step up and shoot well. Did that yesterday, 8 of 13, now steps back and it rattles out. But there's Mitchell, not there. An 8-0 run for Maryland. Providence trying to get some points back. Here's Cotton, and he loses it out of bounds. But Maryland has a gripe with that.
I think he may have just lost the handle.
That's not a happy punch over there for Maryland.
They want to, the farther away you are from this game, the easier it is to call it.
Yeah. Smotrich thought about it. Matched up with Cotton, a size mismatch, but now Harris switches back. 4:40 to go. Peters dribbles it off the foot of Harris.
Mark Turgeon has got some excellent minutes out of Peters and Rom at the point guard position, and he plays them a lot together. This is a team that has struggled with the point guard position because of the injury to Seth Allen, but they've really grown in that respect during this tournament.
Maryland, a lot of their points being scored inside the paint so far. Peters, and it's off the hands of Lehmann, and it'll go back to Providence. Now taking care of the basketball, 4th turnover.
I was really struggling from the field. 6 of 25, shooting below 25%.
Driving to the hoop is done. Wow, that is the explosiveness he provides.
6'4", long arm, done. Quick first step. We talked about Chris Dunn's ability to change the game at both ends of the court.
Yeah, Peters went for a walk in the park, and at the 4-minute mark, Wells will come back in. And Peters will check out for now.
We just talked about how well Peters has played at that point guard position, but he's a bit out of control in this game. And we've got Des Wells in the game with 2 fouls.
Here's Cotton rising for 3. Little long, and Rom there for the rebound, all 5 feet 9 inches of them.
A little gamble by Mark Turgeon to put Des Wells back in the game. 2 fouls. And a comfortable 8-point lead.
Moving Wells off to the wing with Rom in there. Wells 6 into the corner. Smotrich driving on Fortune into the paint, and a slam dunk. Shaquille clear.
Good dish by Smotrich. He draws the second defender. Clear and Mitchell making a living behind the defense, working that baseline for the Terps in penetration and just catching and scoring.
Oh, and Rom goes down. And once again, the look of surprise and disdain from Chris Dunn. A turnover by Providence. Maryland will get it back after the break. Up by 10, thanks to Smotrich and the big guys underneath. Work up on Charles Mitchell, 3 of 4 from the floor. But as we talk about with Providence throughout this tournament especially, this is a position that's not necessarily the most unenviable for Ed Cooley's bunch. They had their run against Marist 37-2. They came back 1. Vermont 17-1. Vanderbilt, they closed the game out trailing 16. They came back on a 27-4 run to win that one. LaSalle scored the first 10. They came back and imposed their will, and now today they find themselves in a 10-point hole again.
Well, they take on the character of Ed Cooley. He is a fighter. He will not let this team quit. Look for them to come back.
Smotrich denied by Harris on the block. Rom calling for the ball, handling the point guard duties. And contact away from the ball. Newly into the game, Lee Goldsboro, the junior out of Newcastle, England, who played some time yesterday, helped give Ed Cooley some depth, and he's whistled for his first foul.
There at the free throw line, he has struggled from the stripe also, along with Mitchell.
Clear 4 of 9 at the line this season. And he makes it. Clear the native of the Bahamas. As we mentioned, Maryland making a trip down to the Bahamas this past August, which was kind of the coming out party for Jake Lehmann. It's an 11-point game in favor of the Terrapins. First meeting between these two schools on the hardwood in 22 years.
There was some confidence in those two free throws.
Henton on his way to the hoop, stripped by Smotrich, but whistled for a foul. And this is the strength of Providence. They came into the game 4th in the nation in free throws, shooting at 83%. Only Boston College 85%, Pacific at 83%, along with Elon as well at 83%.
I never like to talk about free throws until after they shoot it, as Hinton's rims in and out.
Don't blame me, Kevin. Well,
0 for 2. 0 for 2, Danny.
What did Mark Twain say about statistics? Yeah, lies, damn lies, and statistics. 33-21 is the score. Maryland on top of Providence. Just over 2 minutes to go. Here's Faust at the line. Oh, head fake. But he still comes up short off the front rim.
And Ed Cooley have the scout report on Faust as he is attacked almost every time he's touched this basketball.
Under 2 minutes to go. Cotton stripped by Rom again with the defense.
Varun Rom has given a great lift for this Maryland team. And even Mark Turgeon told me I should have played him more in the first game. I should have played him against Oregon State.
Smotrich can't hit, and it's tipped out of bounds. Yeah, Varun Ram has been the spark plug. His GPA is higher than some people's scoring average, 4.56 in high school.
Transfer from a Division III Trinity College has really helped in this backcourt for the Terps as they wait for Seth Allen to get a broken foot healed, hopefully back January 1st. It has been point guard by committee for the Terps.
Cotton on the far side for Providence.
And Mark Turgeon, Deswell's back on the bench, does not want to pick up that third foul.
Now Harris was well defensed. Everyone got a piece of that ball. Now underneath the backboard on the reverse try. And it's Faust's rebound with a minute to go. It's been a very active first half for Maryland defensively, holding Providence to 25% shooting and only 21 points. And the luxury Providence has, Smotrich can walk up the court and tie his shoe along the way.
A lot of this with Wells on the bench.
Three-pointer not there, good point. Put back by Clear, oh, it rolls off the rim. About 3.5 seconds separating the game in shot clocks.
Ed Cooley wants to run this down the last possession, even though there is a, you mentioned, 3-second differential.
Scoring champion of the Big East from a year ago, Bryce Cotton.
Mark Turgeon out there directing his defense.
Still time on the shot clock, 6 seconds to go, 5. Cotton from 18, rattles out. Lehmann the rebound, he's got 3, 2. Steps into a 30-footer, and it's an air ball. But a very good first half. Maryland 33, Providence 21, Kevin. What a solid defensive performance.
It's been unbelievable. We've seen this Maryland team grow through each game of this tournament. Defense, 23% field goal defense for the Terps against a very potent Providence offense.
Here's Monica Jonigan with Maryland head coach Mark Turgeon's take.
Coach Turgeon, you've got to be impressed with your team's defense in this first half.
Yeah, you know, we came to the island, we weren't guarding anybody, and so far for 2.5 games, we've guarded pretty well. Providence has made two great comebacks in these games, so we'll talk about that at halftime, but hopefully we'll have the energy on defense to hold them out.
You're also leading them in rebounds. Give me a sense of how important it's going to be to maintain when those shots are falling for Providence.
Well, our whole thing's been transition defense. We talked about that, and then rebounding the basketball. And we've done a good job. I don't know what the stats are, but I feel like on both ends we've rebounded pretty well.
Good luck in the second half, Coach.
Thank you.
Guys, back to you.
I tell you what, Kevin, we talked about this in between games. As far as in-game demeanor, you could put Turgeon in there with the Coach K's of the world. You see Ed Cooley is very demonstrative, very emotional. You look at Mark Turgeon, you would have thought that his team is losing by 12.
I saw him in the lobby today, and he said, I'm going to take a look at the last sunset. That's how calm he was before this game.
Maryland 33, Providence 21, hoping the sun does not set on them in the beautiful Virgin Islands. It's been a beautiful first half performance. Des Wells and the Terps defense helping to lead. We're at the half, 33-21. Stick with us. More to come at the half on the CBS Sports Network. Maryland by 12 at the Easy Bonds Paradise Jam. It's just past 12 a.m. local time. And to paraphrase a little Wilson Pickett here, Kevin, we're going to wait till the midnight hour because that's when Maryland begins to shine. They all start with Des Wells, a couple of big hoops to set the tone, and then the defense carried the day.
Well, great defense, but Des Wells started up aggressive on offense. He takes one right down the middle and flushes it with authority. Only 9 minutes for the Terp wing, but how about that? A little highlight read by Wells. And then the big men get in the picture. Outscored in the paint 20-10 by the Terps as Roddy Williams delivers. Roddy Peters delivers, and there is the big men. Mitchell and Claire with 7 each. Providence, Tyler Harris, he's a second half player, but he led the Friars. There was 6 in the first half. He got some ISOs inside. Look for him to have a big second half. Then hit them isolation plays, was able to take advantage. And the jump guard dog pulls one out of traffic and finishes off the glass.
Those 2 buckets by Des Wells for Maryland were his only of the first half. 38% shooting, nothing to gloat about it for the Terrapins, but the big stat that we talked about, not only the +7 in rebounds, not only the big guys in the paint, look at the scoring differential. They paid 20-10, and Providence held way below their average so far. Monica Jonigan caught up with Ed Cooley. Interesting to see what he had to say. Monica.
Coach Cooley, in this tournament, you've gotten amazing production from Tyler Harris, but the Maryland defense is trying to shut him down. What are you going to do to try to get these shots to fall in the second half?
I mean, our offensive efficiency right now is not very good. The ball didn't move. You know, we all did a bad job. I did a bad job that half. The players did. Hopefully, we got a little bit of energy this half that we can try to pull this one out.
I heard you tell your guard, Cotton, to drive to the basket. He doesn't have to settle for threes. What are you looking to get out of him in the second half?
Some leadership. You know what I mean? Some leadership. It's not so much about what we're doing defensively. It's our offensive shot selection that's leading to runouts for them. So we got to have better floor balance. If we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance.
Thanks, Coach.
Smotrich can't get the jump hook to go well. Kevin, at practice today, Ed Cooley went straight up to us and said, you have not seen the best that Bryce Cotton has yet to offer. And though he had a better scoring half than what we saw the first couple of days in this tournament, he's still trying to find his stroke. He's only 1 of 6.
Said he would be the X factor in this game. They've got to get him some shots. Uncontested shots. His bats at 17 from short off the rim.
Lehmann is tied up by Bats, and here comes Harris.
2 nice defensive stops by the Providence to start this second half.
Providence White handling the basketball, down 12, their largest lead of this game. Nice play by Lehmann, who comes flying into our table here. He's slow to rise. Ball out of bounds, and Lehmann holding his right leg as he stands up and tries to walk it off. First half scoring for Maryland, Evan Smotrich, Clear, and Mitchell, all the 3 front court guys with 7 apiece. Tyler Harris leading the way, who we highlighted at the top with 6.
Yeah, Ed Cooley wanted to chase Lehmann and Smotrich off the 3-point line, but the Terps have made him pay inside with the 2 bigs scoring. Mitchell and Clear having a lot of success.
1 on the shot clock, and Cotton can't get it to go. Wells with the rebound. Terrapins pushing the ball. There goes Wells again. The scoop, no, but the tip for Smotrich.
The Terps just have a higher energy level than the Friars at this point in the game.
Providence came in averaging 76 points per game. They're stuck at 21.
Mark Turgeon talking about this defense had to grow, and it has in this tournament.
That one rims out. Well, Providence came in 6-0, as we talked about, best start in 25 years. Meanwhile, the University of Maryland still looking for that signature when they fell to Connecticut in the season opener by a point, which might have fit the bill. Now Mark Turgeon's team looking to take a Big East opponent here in the Virgin Islands. Ball out of bounds. More good defense from the Terps.
The Terps really, Mark Turgeon really spoke about how happy he was with their defensive performance at home against Oregon State. They needed to grow. And an opportunity to see 3 different teams defend 3 different styles in a 4-day period.
And something to look for if we don't see Dunn for much, if not the rest of the half, for the most part in place of Fortune. Bats on the baseline, no, not there. Harris gets hog-tied, and Maryland has the rebound. Lehmann open for 3. Three-on-two break for Providence. Cotton in transition. And those were the shots a year ago he would hit, and he's not hitting them right now.
A little frustration on Bryce Cotton's face as he is from the field. Just 1 for 8.
Cotton with the injury to his knee, had surgery on his meniscus in the offseason. Turnaround by Bats won't go.
Well, another little block-to-block play that we saw them work on the shoot-around, but Bats gets it point-blank. He cannot score as he gets bumped out of position.
Providence 7 for 35.
Well, Providence has gotten the ball where they've won it on some of these sets, but not able to convert. Big front line of the Terps has given some problems.
Fouls the shot isn't there, and they're building houses with the bricks right now. Maryland at 37% and dropping. And as mentioned, Providence at 20% shooting. Ed Cooley wants a timeout. Certainly not starting the half he wants, and the look of resignation on his face. Certainly not what the Friars want right now. 16:46 to go. Maryland 35, and Ed Cooley's team trailing by 14. Back with more after this.
Coach Cooley trying to shut down the penetration. He said on a made basket, go find Des Wells. He is not to get the basketball. He is killing us. He's driving. We play defense. When we make the basket, go find him. Don't let him get the ball. Guys right here.
That duty will fall upon Chris Dunn. Really deny the pass, keep out of Wells' hands.
Dunn rises from 12, no. And a foul underneath. And clear foul.
The shooting woes continue for Providence. 7 of 35. You got Bats 1 for 8 from the field. Cotton 1 for 8 from the field. Hinton 2 for 6. Harris 2 for 5.
Clear the unexpected offense tonight. He's replaced by Mitchell in the lineup. Providence ball, can they get their offense going? And the huge question mark here tonight. Here's Dunn. Hinton for 3. And it still will not fall. They're under 20% now, folks. Here's Wells for Maryland. You leave Smotrich alone, and they'll do that.
Pick and pop, miscommunication by the defense as both defenders stayed with Wells. Smotrich with a little rub off finds himself wide open.
12.7 boards, just about at his averages coming in. 17-point lead for the Terrapins. Fortune, and even that won't go.
Well, that last play is just a communication play on defense as Fortune and Hinton both go with Wells, and they leave Evan Smotrich point shooter wide open.
Here's Fortune taking it away. He's got Harris as the trailer. Harris goes up, can't get it to go, but will get 2 free throws. Maryland has a 38-21 lead over Providence, which is shooting 18%. Can they get things going? Tyler Harris to the line after the break here on CBS Sports Network. And if you're just joining us, yeah, it's been a rough night for these are the kinds of nights, Kevin, that you go digging in the media guide, and here's some numbers to keep in the back of your mind. The low in the program's history for a game from the field is 24%. That was against Syracuse in 2001. Providence right now is at 18%. You see the number on your screen, no field goals since forever.
Chris Dunn scored the last field goal to go way back to 4-14 in the first half.
By the way, the low half in the program's history was 17 points against Villanova in 1981. They just missed that by 4 in this game. And Harris finally ends an 8-minute-plus scoring drought.
Well, Harris has had big second halves to see if he can ignite a fire for Providence as they're going to do a little full-court pressure. How to get this team more aggressive.
38-23, Maryland. Peters all the way to the hoop, and it will not fall, but a blocking foul will send Peters to the line, courtesy of Bats.
Well, Ed Cooley wants to get this game up-tempoed. Bats moving a little bit. Again, we talk about the new rules. You got to be set. You cannot move your upper body. Peters at the free throw line.
Roddy Peters, 6 for 8 coming into the game from the line, but it won't drop for him either. DeRozier's in, Bats out. Maryland at 38%, which normally wouldn't seem that great, but by comparison, it's more than double the percentage of Providence, and there Peters misfires on 2 free throw shots.
And Providence, their first opportunity to press because of the made free throws. They haven't been able to score. Ed Cooley wants to get more pressure and to get his team going with full court pressure, but you got to put the ball through the net to be able to do that.
Baseline in the corner, Harris, an air ball on the jump hook. Boy, Kevin, this is starting to resemble one of those games you might have seen in the mid-'80s around the time before and after that 45-second shot clock was implemented. It's an ugly game out there.
Jake Lehmann got a piece of that shot, but again, gives Providence a chance to set up the pressure.
Smotrich on the wing, coming in Lehmann, and finally he scores.
What great paced Jake Lehmann as he had the three, kind of looked it over, let the defense settle in, and then drove it to the basket with that winding hook shot.
Henton will fire and finally score a field goal for Providence. 40-25, and the pressure's still on. It's Ted Bancroft into the game. And still Maryland is able to impose itself, coming right down the side of the lane. Wells.
Well, Ed Cooley figures he has nothing to lose. Let's go out and a little more pressure. See, hitting a little pick and pop. Both these teams are having success with that play, but it allows him to set up the pressure, fouling at the other end. But Ed Cooley, he wants his team to be aggressive.
And Wells can't convert. That's 3 straight missed free throws for the Terrapins. Fortune comes in and Bancroft out. Yeah, Wells a good free throw shooter, 20 of 26 coming in, but he misses them both. Oh my, the struggles are contagious right now, but Wells will get a second try because of the lane violation against Providence. Ned Cooley right now just can't believe anything, nothing going his way.
That lane violation on DeRochers as DeRocher looks at the officials and me. Yes, son, you were in too early, and Des Wells able to convert when he gets the third chance.
Hard to be surreptitious when you're like Carson, who's 7 foot 250. You can hear those footsteps in the lane. It's a 16-point Maryland lead. Fortune against Wells, and Dunn will control. Not pictured in your screen, Bryce Cotton. Harris on the move to the hoop. Nope. Grabs the rebound and loses it again. And the frustration evident on all corners of the floor. Here's Wells.
Some good side-to-side ball movement.
On the floor, Smotrich has it. Wells sees a seam and comes up short. First 2 field goals. Wells, that's just 1 point. Now a turnover for Providence on the other end, and up the floor it goes. And Peters is now whistled for a foul. Dunn frustrated, and there's Ed Cooley. He goes all the way to the end of the Providence bench. Check it out, all the way to the end of the Providence bench and sits on the end. There he is, all the way down there. It's been that kind of night for Providence.
Well,
historic,
not happy
and not good
with
way.
Dunn's ability to handle the basketball as he goes and takes his seat, gathers his thoughts. Now he's back in coaching.
(41-25) Maryland over Providence. In the corner, Faust has it. There's Rom open for 3. He fires and he hits. Why not at this point just throw out the playbook and see what sticks?
And a spark plug Rom. He makes his presence felt at the defensive end and now joins in on the offense. He's left wide open.
All 6 of his points for Maryland have been scored at this tournament. 3 on Friday, 3 tonight. DeRozier's the fall away jump hook. And that will not fall. And here's Peters. And Faust is open. And Lehmann will tip it out of bounds. Kevin, you were in this position before as a head coach. What do you tell your team when nothing's falling?
Well, you got to keep positive. I like the idea that Ed Cooley's putting pressure on, trying to get his team to be more aggressive and maybe get some offense with your defense. But the problem, as I talked about, you've got to be able to score, get some dead balls to set the press up. Providence cannot get the ball in the basket. 8 of 42, just 19%. Frustrating day for the Friars.
Right now, Providence flirting with program record lows. 19% shooting, 25 points. In fact, the low for the program scoring in a game is 44, and even at this point, that seems like a reach for Providence the way they're shooting. On the baseline, it's DeRozier's. Henton may have walked. Instead, he gets it and puts it through. And look at Mark Turgeon. He's about as angry as you'll see him. He wanted to travel.
And there's one thing you do tell your players. Drive it to the basket. You're not getting shots. Hit. Goes in hard, draws the foul. Little tiptoe before he finishes it. DeRozier's with the offensive rebound. Second chance opportunity now for Providence.
Friars still down 17 to Maryland.
We saw him come back from 16 down with 10 minutes left against Vanderbilt.
Cotton for three. Yes, he got it. Well, the X factor, can he come up and light a fire under his teammates?
Now you need back-to-back stops at the defensive end for Providence.
Faust to the hoop, leaves the ball behind, and now he's whistled for a travel. And Mark Turchin's not gonna like that. Where was the whistle on the other end, he tells the referee. Nevertheless, his team up by 14, but Providence trying to make a move. Stick with us, more Paradise Jam action. We return here on CBS Sports Network from the Virgin Islands. And one of those long days you just wish would end. And his team right now trailing by 14, but they're starting to pick things up a little.
Well, there's hit come to life here in the second half if they struggle to score. And you get, if you're Ed Cooley, you said, hey, we played very poorly. We're only down 14. Let's keep this thing going. And Cotton finally gets loose as he knocks in a three ball.
Ed Cooley asking us to say that he sends his hello to his wife Nerese and son Isaiah back home. Maryland up 44-30, but Providence showing some signs of life here. In the corner is Dunn.
ISO play for Tyler Harrison. He wants it on the block, but no delivery.
DeRozier's in the corner. The Wake Forest transfer will yield to Cotton. It goes to Dunn, 10 on the shot clock. DeRozier's thought about the shot, and then he traveled. The indecision cost Providence, and now down to Monica Jonigan.
In that huddle, guys, Mark Turchin telling his team, do not get complacent. We should be winning this game by 20 points. He told them, execute on offense and don't let up. This is the time to get hungry, guys.
Thanks, Monica. And a good point there, Kevin. With Providence is shooting 23%, it's only a 14-point game.
Right, and a great defensive stand by the Terps coming out of that timeout. As you know, Providence was going to have a set play. They tried to ISO Harris inside. They took that away, settled back in, and made a great stop for the Terps.
Over in the wing is Lehmann, clear on the baseline. Down the lane goes Lehmann, can't get it to go. Grabs the rebound, tries to go up again, and DeRozier's, the Big East leader in blocks, sends another one away.
Great hands by Claire and vision. But Lehmann can't quite convert. And Grime coming in there as he tries to get the putback.
And Dunn guilty of the contact on Smotrich. And that will be Dunn's fourth foul. Well, if you're Ed Cooley, you're waiting for the silver lining here, not finding it yet.
And Batts on the bench with 3. Dunn, as you mentioned, picked up his fourth. They need Dunn. If they're going to press and get back in this game, they have to have Chris Dunn in the game because he can disrupt the other team's offense with his long reach and explosiveness.
Here's Lehmann for the Terrapins. Bancroft matched up with Smotrich and takes it away. Nice defensive play.
Well, Bancroft comes on the court. He makes things happen for Providence. Doesn't play very many minutes, but good things happen.
Fortune for 3, no good, but a foul is whistled. And now in the backcourt, Cotton comes up limping. But the foul on the three-point try, 3 free throws, and Mark Turchin knows that's exactly what he does not want his team to do.
Cannot allow Providence to score with the clock stopped. Des Wells leaves his feet on a three-point shooter.
Fortune having a nice night last night, but has not even attempted a shot tonight or a free throw until that one. First point of the game.
Pitch out. Wells, Cardinals send. Don't leave your feet on a three-point shooter. Close out, hands high, feet on the ground.
Bats foul trouble and all. Back in, Henton in. Bancroft and DeRozier's come out.
And the Maryland staff is well aware of Providence making a comeback against Vanderbilt, being down 10-0 against LaSalle. This is a team that takes on Ed Cooley's personality. They're going to keep coming at you. Got it down to 11.
Fortune converts all 3 free throws in the process, trying every which way they can to come back without actually making consistently from the field.
And we talked about multiple defensive stops by Providence.
And a foul away from the ball. So an 11-point, make it a 12-point now, second half for Providence, following a 21-point first half of Maryland not doing anything to pull away or take advantage. The foul, the second against Hinton. In the corner for 3, Smotrich, well short. 3-on-2 for Providence. Cotton goes up, fakes it in, and draws the foul.
Watch out, Danny. Here come the Friars. Got it back down to single digits.
It's the X factor. Zed Cooley called him Bryce Cotton.
Open court, gets it up off the window, keeps his eye on the prize. Great finish. And Bryce Cotton, the leading scorer out of the Big East last season.
And Cotton does indeed convert. He's got 11.
Concerned Mark Turgeon on the sideline.
The lead is down to 8. It was once 19. Now Maryland in a drought. Knocked away in the corner, and Cotton does it again. And the Friar faithful, they're letting their voices be heard now. Cotton goes to Fortune. Maryland has led this one wire to wire. 9 minutes to play. Here's Cotton for 3.
Oh, nice set play by Providence. Tried to close the gate for Cotton, but he left it short.
Now Providence the other night, a 27-4 run to end the game for a victory over Vanderbilt. There's Mitchell in the lane, the running hook. Will not go, in a foul now against Maryland, and it looks like Providence's shooting woes are now manifested on the opposite side of the floor.
An opportunity, once again, to go to the free throw line for Providence. Mitchell frustrated with that missed shot. Don't make the double error and draw the foul after the miss. Bats, excellent free throw shooter at the line for Providence.
And no doubt Mark Turgeon told his team, don't put Providence at the line. As we mentioned, the 4th best team in the nation at the line is Providence. Bats with 5.
We talked about the matchup of Jake Lehmann against Tyler Harris. They have almost canceled each other out in this game.
And the second one rolls out. And you look at some of the Providence shooting numbers. Fortune 0 of 3. Bats 1 of 8. Cotton 3 of 11. 2 for 8 as Harris. Dunn 1 for 4. And a timeout for Mark Turgeon.
Important possession as the Terps have struggled to score. Mark Turgeon wants to get this team organized, get a high percentage shot.
What did we say about those runs? Last 3 minutes, 20 seconds plus. Providence has scored the last 12 points. It's been Cotton with 11 points to lead the way. Hinton, the only guy putting up decent shooting numbers. He's 4 of 8 from the floor, 0 for 7. Or excuse me, 7 rebounds in this contest. Fortune was the shooter the other night, was 0 for 3. Bats 1 for 8, as we talked about, and only 24% shooting. 11 for 46 at this point is Providence.
And they've worked themselves back into a 7-point deficit, shooting 24% from the field.
Des Wells has it for Maryland, trying to look for an answer. Got a little bit of a dry spell on their own end. Last field goal was at 12:49. Mitchell again, another foul, and it's Bats taking the charge.
Mitchell drops the shoulder. Bats Little bit of an acting, but enough to get the call. Boy, how hard is it to defend the post? Take the fall, pull the chair out.
Well, the Maryland offense here on the Virgin Islands is run aground. Can't find the bottom of the hoop right now. And Cotton will walk alongside the ball before he picks it up at midcourt.
And Mitchell still talking to the official about that last call. Is now Batts. And Mitchell, a real battle on the block.
Now we should be mentioning that this is only 20 minutes shy of 1 a.m. local time. But take that also into account. Not a normal time to be playing college basketball. Perhaps a factor in this game. 44-37, Maryland on top. The shooting hasn't been pretty, but the goal's still the same. A Paradise Jam championship hangs in the balance. 8 minutes to go. Stick with us.
Free throw shooting team, and they're making up for their bad field goal percentage by getting to the free throw line. They have 13 of 17. They average 18 makes a game, and they are shooting one-on-ones close to the double bonus with 18 fouls on the Terps.
The score in the second half, Providence leading 16-11. It's 44-37 overall. Maryland has not trailed in this game. Terrapins basketball. Around the Mitchell screen, Wells has it. He's got Smotrich, Lehmann, and Faust as the others. Wells, stutter step dribble, a drive, and it sinks for him.
That was a big-time move by Des Wells and a much-needed basket for the Terps.
That's his first field goal since the wraparound drive in the opening moments of this game. He's got 7 points. Providence ball down 9. Fortune, or make it Cotton, excuse me, with the ball and the team-high 11-point total. In the corner, Henton short, bats the rebound, the strong move up and puts it in.
Bats an excellent job of working that back rebound. That ball shot on the left corner, you know it's going to come over the far side. Bats went right to the spot, owned it. He was able to convert.
Those 7 points for Bats on 2 of 9 from the floor. Got an old school matchup here with 46-39 on the scoreboard late into the second half.
The Terps are going to keep putting the ball in Des Wells' hands if he'll answer the bell.
And Wells scores. 48-39 the count.
Those are back-to-back baskets. Just overpowers the Providence defender. That time it was Fortune.
You just turn on your television set, you might expect Lefty Driesell on the Maryland sideline and Dave Gavitt over for Providence. Henton, the put up off glass.
Well, both teams woeful shooting through most of this game, but they're starting to heat up as we get past the midnight hour.
Straight away, Smotrich, the head fake, the dribble, the three, and it won't fall for Maryland. And now a foul underneath. And Maryland looking a little disconcerted at this point.
Well, Providence dodged a bullet again. The pick and pop by Smotrich has been open. They miscommunicate time and time again, but the Terps not able to make them pay. That was a great look for Evan Smotrich.
Third foul against Faust. Fortune comes out, and Harris to the line for Providence. Well, we talked about it just a few moments ago. Do you think the start time, the late playing of this game, it's a 1:45 local time, do you think that has had an effect on this, the way this is played out?
When you were 18, 19 years old, did time have an effect on you?
I don't comment on those years,
these
Kevin.
Kids don't care. They're ready to play some hoops. They play at 4 in the morning.
Do you really want the answer to that, Kevin? That's sealed away under lock and key.
Well, again, Providence at the free throw line, one of the top free throw shooting teams in the country. They're clawing back into this, getting points with the clock stopped.
48-43. Now, a lot of the work, as you mentioned, Kevin, at the foul line. 15 of 19 for the Friars. Lead was as big as 19 for Maryland. It's down to just 5 points. Peters is held up by Cotton.
And Mark Turgeon puts Des Wells on the bench. Third foul, give him a little rest. He really took over the game at the end for Maryland, but going to take a seat. Wants to make sure he's fresh for this run in the last 4 minutes.
Wells with 9 points, 5 rebounds tonight. And Peters will be at the controls. Defense by Dunn.
There's that back screen lob that the Terps try to use to get Lehmann a dunk.
Faust at the block. No, off the handle of Harris, then he couldn't control the rebound. Second chance opportunity for the Terrapins.
Well, Harris and Bats both had a chance to get that rebound, but got tangled up with one another.
That's pretty quick west for Wells. He's right back in there and Faust out.
Wells really made a statement here in his back-to-back plays where he went right down the alley and scored on Providence. Looking forward to go back into Wells' hands.
The foul situation, both teams out of them. Providence in the double bonus. Here's Clear, backing down Bats with the size, can't come up with it. He gets it back and drops it out of bounds, and it will be Providence basketball, whereas the story in the first half was the size for Maryland. Mitchell and Clear imposing their will in the second half. They still haven't scored.
Well, Bats just held his ground, and that is a real battle between those two. Remember last time he flopped and got the offensive foul? That time held his ground and banged, and Clear comes up short, can't not handle his own miss.
Varun Rahman for Maryland. A 5-point game with less than 5 minutes to go. Cotton the runner. Yeah, he gets it again.
And the X factor is becoming a factor for the Friars. Bryce Cotton scores again.
As close as it has been since the opening moments of this game. And listen to the Providence fans. Lehmann on Harris. Slip. Denied underneath. And it's Henton falling out of bounds to save it. Here comes Cotton taking on all comers. And Varun Ram, another solid defensive play. But let's see, was Lehmann? Yeah, he was out of bounds on the line as he had possession.
And this has turned into an unbelievable game as Mark Turgeon looks on with some concern, as Providence is now getting what they call those 50-50 balls.
Dunn, Henton, Cotton, Harris, and Bats with possession for Providence. In the mid-post, swatted away by Lehmann.
Too many moves inside by Bats. Lehmann comes from the wing, gets a piece of it.
Surveying the scene as Wells. Underneath, open, clear, no. Try to shoot it on the fly.
Well, Providence talked about making sure that Des Wells didn't turn the corner. They left Clear wide open, not able to convert.
Ed Cooley's team calling a timeout. They're down 3 and a chance. Can you believe this? With the team in the throes of a horrible shooting slump. Earlier in the half, they were down 19, and Maryland just letting Providence creep back into this one. A 20-4 run, and it's now just 3 points. And Bryce Cotton has been the catalyst for this Providence run, Kevin.
Well, we've talked about Ed Cooley saying he is the X factors. They lose that close the gate play, gets him a 3, then in transition. A little Euro move, sweet off the window. And then the floater inside as Bryce Cotton brings back the Providence Friars, only down by 3.
With 13 points, albeit on those 13 shots, but he's found a way to control. Now let's get an update from Monica Jonigan.
Guys, Coach Turgeon, very simple in that huddle. He said, guys, just win the game. Just win the game. That's it.
And it's all about the W's, isn't it, Kevin?
And that is making coaching as simple as possible. The message underneath that is make some plays and some defensive stops. Shot clock running down.
The Dunn, 6 on the shot clock underneath Henton. Backing down Smotrich. Blocked away again by Lehmann. Coming up with the defense. Has not shot well. 2 of 10. But some key defensive plays. And defense has been the story for Maryland. A 3-point game. Join us for the finish. On 41-34 is the rebounding edge, and that's something that Ed Cooley prides his team's strength on, getting that rebounding advantage. He didn't have it against Vanderbilt, had it last night against LaSalle. But tonight, -7 on the boards and 2 on the shot clock as we start play.
In the second half, they've gone 15 and 15, so they've really made a good comeback. Let's look for this play.
A story of free throws. Inbounded to Henton, fires it up, but the defense denies him the good shot. And it remains a 3-point Maryland lead with just 3 minutes to go. Maryland with only 15 points in the half. Wells the runner. Tipped once, twice, and out of bounds, and it'll stay with the Terps.
Well, we've seen both teams run that ISO play, bring their best one-on-one player right in the middle of the lane. Sweep move, no help defense, driving. Not able to convert.
Now, these two teams came into the game averaging in the mid-70s per game through their first 5 for Maryland and 6 for Providence. They're not going to come anywhere near there tonight. It's going to be a battle of wits at the end. Wells rises, can't get it to go. Smotrich the putback, that won't go.
Transfer from Michigan has 12 points as he works the glass. Wells in off the crutch. He tips it to himself, draws the contact. Chance to try this Providence Friar comeback.
Smotrich spending his first 2 years at Michigan, and the free throw not there.
And then made a visit to Providence when he was going to transfer. This is the same weekend as Tyler Harris. Harris decides to come, and Smotrich decides he'd rather be a Terp.
Second free throw is good. So Evan Smotrich with 13 points, with Cotton the co-game high scorers. It's a 4-point game, Providence ball. Here's the aforementioned Harris. Cotton defense by Faust. And Dunn will pull it back for the Friars. Just over 2 and change to go.
He does well as he stays around 3-point line. Dunn, not a great shooter. He's playing for the drive.
In the corner, Henton with fury on the baseline, but stepped on the end line and gives it back to Maryland. That is a costly turnover at this stage of the game.
And that was in the Sky Report when Henton gets on that left wing. Take away his left hand. As you can see, Smotrich slides over. He steps on the inline. Turnover from Providence.
Surprised that Dunn comes out, but of the games we saw, the least effective, and Wells nearly travels. Smotrich deals it off. The reverse there for Mitchell.
Great look off as he looked to the weak side corner, but dished it to Mitchell inside. That's been a long, quiet spell for those Coast guys.
First 2 of the half for Mitchell. And they're getting loud here. Seconds to go. Cotton for 3. Oh, tough break. And they're going to say Providence ball. Here comes Fortune, a shooter, and Dunn a short-lived rest.
Nice no-look bounce pass. Soft hands by the big man. Finished on the other side of the rim.
We've got Henton, Harris, Cotton, Fortune, and Batts, who will all head to the sideline as Providence will use the timeout, and Ed Cooley will talk to his squad. It's a 6-point game, fully manageable in spite of all the circumstances, Kevin Lehmann.
Well, and this is an important possession for Providence with 1:34 left, ball underneath their basket. They have got to set up a play that's going to score.
The points in the paint, it's been 30-20. Maryland's held the edge there. Bench points, Maryland outscoring Providence 14-2. And Maryland, which has not trailed in this game, trying to just, at this point, for lack of better words, outlast the Friars.
Well, we talk about poor shooting woes by these teams, but it's been great defense focused in and really have taken away what the other team is trying to do. We watched those walkthroughs today. These scouting reports were excellent, and they had less than 2 hours to prepare. I was astonished by how well each team knew what the other team was going to try to do.
So who does Providence go to here? Is it Cotton?
He's been the hot man there, but we have not heard much from Tyler Harris in this game.
In the corner, Cotton off the cut. He hits it and draws the foul.
Danny, were you in that huddle? Nice call. Cotton a chance for a rare 4-point play.
The X Factor, Bryce Cotton.
Well, great play by Ed Cooley. Mr. Cotton tickles the twine. Kicks the foot out, goes down, gets the call at the free throw line.
And the free throw is true. And it's a 2-point game, folks. 1:32 to go. It took the Paradise Jam Finals to reunite these two teams after 22 years of never having squared off since 1991.
Ed Cooley with a great PAT play after a timeout. Not only got the 3, but got a 4-point play out of it.
Des Wells shuttling it forward, 10 on the shot clock. Wells puts it through.
And Wells had made some big-time baskets this game. He's just exploded and risen over the defense.
Check your calendars. It's November, not March, but it certainly feels like tourney time, doesn't it? Here's Harris. Into the paint, the runner. Off the back rim. Battle for the boards, and it will go Maryland's way on the foul.
Des Wells gives Mitchell a huge hug. Wells is going to take this game over. Strong upper body, great finish. Splits the defender. The ball screen and splits 2 defenders. Gets all the way, but now we've got Mitchell, a poor free throw shooter at the line for the Terps.
Mitchell's just attempted 1. He's made it, but he's 7 for 24 on the season. Back rim, Bats wrestling for it. He's got it. Here's Cotton. Under 40 seconds to go. Harris goes down across court. Cotton rises from 19 and buries it.
But Cotton back to back. He scored 7 points in the last 2 possessions.
It's a 2-point game, but there's not enough time to wait back and play D. And now they'll send Wells to the line. Still a 1-and-1 for 1 more foul.
They're going to check the monitor, make sure this is a 3-ball by Bryce Cotton. One of the new rules.
It's that white line you're looking for. The blue line is the international rules. They play here.
This is one of the new rules instituted this year, that they can stop the game, go to the monitor, and determine if it's a 3 or not. In the last 2 minutes of the game, they will stop instantly and check that.
Yeah, the line you're looking for is that white line. The blue line, the universities here play with international rules.
Well, Danny, then that is a 3-ball, because Poe was well beyond the white line.
Are they going to say it's only 2? Ed Cooley can't believe it.
Well, there are 3 lines on this court.
So it's only a 2-pointer. We'll see how big that is at the end of things. Wells at the line. And a clutch free throw.
Now let's see if Mark Turgeon, if the free throw goes in, he's going to call timeout to set his defense. Yes.
And he does.
4-point lead. You're going to talk about, you do not give up a 3-ball. You give up a 2. Do not give up the 3.
Maryland 51, Providence 51. Excuse me, Maryland 55, Providence 51, with just under 23 seconds to go. And the Terrapins looking for the statement win here. over Big East opposition.
And how big is that replay we watched on the shot by Bryce Cotton? Is it a 2 or 3? It would be a 1-possession game if that was a 3 ball, but since it was ruled 2, now you have a 2-possession with the Terps up 4.
Makes that 2-second line deal very interesting. But it's the white line you're looking for, but apparently the referees saw part of Cotton's foot touching the line.
Now, if you're Ed Cooley, you're talking about, do you take the ball right to the basket quickly? They are shooting the double bonus if they're fouled, or do you try to take a 3? I prefer driving in there, score quick, set your press up.
You expect Cotton to be the one with the ball?
It's going to end up in his hands. Chris Dunn may start out with it, but Bryce Cotton will end up with it. Or Tyler Harris.
Now, we talked about runs, and we've seen yet another by Providence. It was 44-25. Providence trailing at the 12:49 mark. A 20-4 run has made it a game, and it's now 4.
Now, Mark Turgeon has taken his 2 bigs out, Clear and Mitchell. He's got his best free throw shooting team on the court.
No, they've got a very small lineup for Providence as well. Cotton, Harris, Dunn, Fortune, and Henton. No one over 6 there for the Friars. Here's Cotton driving baseline. He's got Fortune. Here's a shooter. Off the back rim, Lehmann and Harris battling. And it will stay Providence ball with 9 4/10 to go.
We'll see if Ed Cooley's going to use a timeout. Brings Bats back in the game.
And Mitchell returned, presumably for rebounding, as Rom comes out. Providence trying to avoid its first loss of the season. Their 6-0 best start in 25 years. Here's Cotton, loses the handle, 7. Cotton fires it off balance. Bats goes up and draws the foul with 2.8 seconds to go.
Now, here's an interesting situation. Does Bats make the first? They get them within 3, miss the second, and they try to bat it out for a 3 ball with only 2.8 left.
Bats is about an 80% free throw shooter on the year.
Ed Cooley is in the official's ear, taking the timeout. Let's see if this is what he sets up.
Well, Coach Kevin Lehmann, what do you draw up here to try and get that 3 off
That's
the miss?
2.8. You miss, and you try to kick it back out to Cotton or another 3-point shooter. Or do you make it and get it within 2 and try to make the quick steal?
That is what we will find out. We're closing in on another Paradise Jam winner. Maryland has led throughout, but Providence, a valiant run at the end here.
Ed Cooley, with his staff, has made the decision. Now he's going to step in the WC and decide how he's going to play this out with 2.8 seconds.
It's been interesting theater tonight. Mark Turgeon said going to the halftime locker room, should have been up more. They led at the half. They opened it up in the early part of the second half, only to see Providence do what they've done time and time again this season. So high theater to close up shop on the men's side of the Paradise Jam, presented by Easy Bonds 2013. Got under 3 seconds to go. Bats will be at the line, and Maryland breaks the huddle with Wells, Smotrich, Mitchell, Faust, and Lehmann.
And you've got Mitchell in there to rebound, but a poor free throw shooter. If there's a miss and Mitchell touches, you have to foul him immediately.
Providence putting the 7-foot Carson DeRozers on one side of the lane and 6'9" Harris on the other.
He's got Fortune and Cotton out at the 3-point line. Faust is marking Cotton.
The shot by Bats is off, taken by Lehmann, and that may just about do it.
Now, Bats, an excellent free throw shooter. I'm thinking that was a miss, attempt to miss and kick it back out.
Well, normally when you see those attempted missed free throws, it's done with mentioned, but it just looked like a shot that just missed the regular free throw shot.
But Bat's an 87% free throw shooter.
Lehmann trying to ice at the line, 13 of 15, and wouldn't you believe that this game has gone against the script? And it all comes down to this Lehmann free throw, or else Providence may have a chance for a heave. 1.5 seconds to go. Lehmann, the sophomore, puts it through. A 4-point game. Harris will launch from midcourt, and that will do it. Maryland is Paradise Jam champions 2013. It wasn't pretty, Kevin, but they outlast the Friars.
Well, this was a great second half. You have two teams that really competed. Great defense. They knew what the other team was trying to execute. It took them a while to get some flow, but what a finish we've witnessed.
Now, Providence, we mentioned their free throw shooting prowess. Their field goal shooting did not do them any favors today. 27%, coming close to a program record for futility. Mark Turgeon's team, they saw that tough loss just by a point to Shabazz Napier's team in Connecticut to open the season, but now they come up with a win they really love to have. They go to 4-2, dropping Providence for their first loss of the season, and that is a happy bunch.
Well, Des Wells made some huge plays in crunch time for the Terps, for them to prevail and get this win and championship.
And 10 years later, after Ed Cooley was an assistant on Al Skinner's staff for Boston College, when they defeated Wichita State, which at the time was coached by Mark Turgeon's staff. Well, years later, it's Ed Cooley falling in defeat to Mark Turgeon's Maryland Terrapin team. And Des Wells, who fought through a rough tournament, he was in foul trouble at times tonight, 5 for 11, 13 points. He is named the tournament MVP here at the Paradise Jam.
Des Wells with some huge baskets down the stretch, especially when Providence was making that run. They put the ball in number 32's hands, and he delivered.
And that looks like a tired but relieved bunch. At the strike of about 1:10 in the morning local time.
Great tournament this year, Paradise Jam 2013.
Now Nels Hawkinson, who helps put this all together, will now have it as they hand out the awards and the championship to the Maryland Terrapins.
And now let's turn it over to Nels Hawkinson.
First of all, before I award the first place, an incredible basketball game. Providence College, you got better every game here. Congratulations to second place for Providence. Gentlemen, I wish you a great season. Coach Cooley, really well job. Good job done. And this year, as standard for the first place award winner, this brass cylinder attached to the front of this trophy is a replica of the Caribbean steel pan. This steel pan is indigenous, a musical instrument indigenous to the Caribbean and a symbol of all the islands. University of Maryland, congratulations, this year's winners in the Paradise Jam 2013. And now, our second place award to Providence College. Congratulations, second place. Come on out and get your award. Let's give them a round of applause, everybody. And now, our Director of Game Entertainment, Sheldon, will go through our all-stars for this year's tournament. Sheldon.
All right, let's go for our all-tournament team. From LMU, Anthony. From UNI, Nate Buss. From Morgan State, Ian Childs. From Providence, Tyler Harris. Come on up, Tyler, all tournament team. From Maryland, Evan Smartritz. Evan. And our MVP from Maryland, Evan, is our, all right, Evan, Maryland. Okay, and our MVP from Maryland, Des Wells. Again, we want to thank everyone for coming on the Paradise Jam 2013. Congratulations to both teams, an excellent championship game. We wish both teams well as you continue with your NCAA play this year. And to all the visitors, coaches, and fans, we hope that you
Des Wells, the MVP, and yes, we go late into the night, past Letterman even. And this was high drama, 56-52, Maryland sweeps through the Paradise Jam to win it. And Monica Jonigan is on the floor with Des Wells, the tournament MVP.
Des, you put this team on your back and you guys got the win. You're the MVP. What about the Maryland squad?
We went through our bumps and bruises so far in the season. We came through games where we didn't defend well, and we let one go against Oregon State. And since then, you know, we just bought in. We were just telling each other, man, look, we got to give it all we got. You know, everybody on this team loves to win, you know, so going into film sessions and having to see Coach get on us about not being in the right place on defense, that really hurt us. So we just wanted to come out here and play as hard as we could, defend as well as we could. And man, that's a great experience. We came away with a championship.
Coach told you in the huddle, just win the game. He came late, just win the game. How did you stave off this run by a very good Providence team?
I told my guys, I said, look, we win this game, man, leave everything out here.
After that 4-point play by Bryce Cotton, Marriott making travel more brilliant, one idea at a time, Kevin.
Deswell splits the double team, gets it all the way through. He answers the bell. That was a big shot at that moment of the game. As you said, Bryce Cotton had just gotten a 4-point play for Providence. Des Wells, the MVP.
So when we look at the final outcome of this, Maryland winning 56-52, taking down Providence, giving them their first loss of the season. You heard Des talking about Oregon State. We talked with Mark Turgeon. He said that was the turning point, and it seems like the defense is so much different than what they even showed a week ago.
They've gotten better every game in this tournament at the defensive end. That has helped their offense. Let's give some credit also to Providence. What a great comeback by Ed Cooley's team, but too much to overcome. Too much Des Wells.
It's never too early to start cutting down nets. And for Providence, a teachable moment. They've got Kentucky this weekend, so there's no time to lick those wounds.
They've got to get healthy, and this is, you play 3 games in 4 days. Your team really grows. So Providence will come out of this as a better team, and we know Maryland is a better team at the defensive end.
Well, we got to thank our gracious hosts, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Easy Bonds, the guys in the truck, AJ Godinez, Max Casanova, Dave Burchett, doing all the work, our fantastic crew, for Kevin Lehmann and Monica Jonigan. This is Danny Lee. Thanks for spending some island time late tonight. Once again, Maryland, the latest champions of the Easy Bonds Paradise Jam. Talk to you next time.